Good afternoon, traders. This is Eli Tesfaye, Senior Market Strategist with R.J.O. Futures in Chicago. And I'm going to cover the metals market again this afternoon. I want to say a few things about what's been going on since I was on a couple of weeks ago. I talked a little bit about the possibility of gold going a little bit lower because at that time we didn't have the Iraqi situation. The whole situation with the Ukraine was intact, and there was no by way of any kind of inflation concerns were kind of tame, and the Fed were talking about that. But 2 weeks, a lot has changed. We've got the whole perfect storm type of situations are developing now. It has been in the past week, and you had to be under a rock to have missed the big rally in gold and silver last week. We got a situation here developing. We've got the ECB possibly. We went to ECB, the European Central Bank went to negative interest rate, and now possibly providing some sort of stimulus to their economy, and that's going to be supportive to gold because we could run into some inflationary environment, and that's another factor as well. So you got ECB situation going on. You've got inflation concern that hasn't gone away. It's tame, but it hasn't gone away. I think we're going to run into some inflationary situations, and that hasn't been talked about a lot. But I think that's something that's going to be in the background. That's going to be very supportive to the metals market, especially gold and silver. And then you've got the whole situation with Iraq, just kind of it's all over now, and that's not kind of under control yet. So that's also supporting gold and silver. And then overall, coming into today's session, I'm morely look at it from technical perspective. Most of all the metal complex, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and copper, all of them are trading above their pivot numbers. So even if you're a swing trader, or you should always pay attention to the pivot numbers coming into today's session. First support, second support. Pivot, first resistance, second resistance, and they all are kind of positive. And looking at the dollar weakness was a big factor, and also in last week's rally. And now the market is in kind of consolidation mode, and there's a potential that we could trade higher. So just looking at gold specifically from a technical perspective, looking at the Fibonacci numbers, we could be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 1333 to 1339 rally from this point on to the upside. And another factor to consider is the commitment traded with option report that was from the June 17 reading. It didn't even include the Friday rally. That report shows already net long positions from non-commercial, non-reportables have increased their net long positions. So that's even before the Friday's rally. So overall, there's a lot of longs coming into this market now. And with the exception of copper, copper is the one that's probably a little bit vulnerable for liquidation, depending on what develops out of China and their demand. So overall, I think the markets are up. So there is a way to play this. You could implement option strategies, or if you want to be outright the futures or long or short, give me a call. I can discuss that with you. And I think I pretty much that's all I have to say. But there's this one other thing I want to mention is if you look at the dollar index is setting up what's an inside day, which is 80.31.5. I think today's low. And previous lows at 80 or over 80.28.5. So if those two are taken off to the downside, also could provide another support to both gold and silver. So we'll see what happens. All we do is set up a strategy and watch the market and let the market do its thing. That's what we do here. Nobody, nobody has a leaf here. It's just kind of setting up a strategy and then let the market respond. So again, give me a call. Thank you. Futures and options on futures may involve substantial risk and may not be suitable for all investors.